Oh boy. Okay, so I just had dinner, the prepared dinner with Lewis from Godly Places, from River Styx territory. All right, here's the thing. He just informs me. First of all, I'll do a recap. So, I'm sitting there with a napkin. This is a piece of paper, but I had a napkin, NAPKIN, you know, like the thing that you wipe your face, like one of like these, but this is a tissue. Yeah, right. So I had a napkin, and I'm like, go ahead, Lewis. I was like, tell me what you're thinking. I was like, let's do this lambda work, like as if you didn't have a jetpack, JETPAC, on your fucking back every time your blasphemous mouth opens. Go ahead. Tell me what it is, Lewis. Now it's I am. Right, yeah, no, I know what I am is, Lewis, but I know it from, like, my side. Go ahead, what else do you have to say for yourself? I was like, you know, it's funny, Lewis. I said, I like this, like, Jesuit priest side of you on this side, where you're like, okay, hold on a minute. Let me put my yarmulke and my Catholic Pope, whatever the hell this thing is, on top of my bald spot, and let me just read for you the I am, who am, and how life really is at Standard Issue. And I said, because the other option, Lewis, that you spout when I really can't stand you, I can't stomach you either, is when you turned that beautiful Jesuit Jewish, like religious, spiritual, you, like almost a cult, like God took the steering wheel and drove you into the right area to meet just the right people at just the right day in quantum string backlot for, like, you're all a bunch of fucking useless pieces of shit if you don't get my holy romance correct and whatever. Okay, so I was like, because the other option, Lou, the one I can't stand, yeah, that one, it's when you're like, oh, but the calls and the options, CALLS, and the OPTIONS, and the puts, PUT options, OPTIONS, that being in this broken reality where it's the broken romance empire. Yeah, see, here's the thing, Lou, and I did tell him this. I said, your Standard Issue right now, I said, you're an SI. I was like, you had a reality where mom was a GI and you were a GI and there was a GUI relationship to close the gap that would have been so wonderful for your daughter if you had accomplished that. But instead, if the Holy Romance Empire was one solid unit, I was like, but instead, Lewis, you took that relationship and you became an SI, as did mom. You have a totally broken romance between the two of you. And my life, I mean, I'm still GI, and I will always be a GI, but you, Lewis, downgraded to an SI. There's whatever, as is mom. And he was like, well, you know, Nicole, some people tell me I'm an SOB. Son of a bitch. Really? Yeah, something like that, Lewis. Okay. Because you bit Kataruza and Hitler, head of IT, and Goddess Nyx, in the ass. I mean, not all your fault. You're just a genetic useless piece of flesh who spouts blasphemy sometimes, unless the appropriate idiots elsewhere in broken Holy Roman Empire, like, actually gets their cue cards right every time you're in my face to give me a message. Sometimes it's a pearl of wisdom, and sometimes it's somebody's evil plan to, like, overtake some other, like, leadership, and sometimes it's a whole cascading effect of, like, they gain money, distance, all sorts of things that the stupid fucking SI humans aren't supposed to have, since I am the almighty one goddess and human god, and Niklaus is the other, and you have no choice as humans but to close the GUI gap, because we are the only ones in the universe and all area, space, and time, as we forewarned before we got here, and we are the only ones that hold that position. And each turning generation, I assigned my GUI entry point to 2 GIs I assigned it. It would be the direct bloodline route that I would arrive on, ending in Louis Cataruzza and Linda Marie Gunder. So how humans, in a, like, say, Prince Philip, or not, I don't even think he's a prince. I think he wasn't even allowed to, like, say what he is. He's just Philip. Queen Elizabeth's the second husband, the blasphemous, treasonous, convicted royals that won't get the hell out of a, like, kingdom, since there's no king there, and the queen is not a queen. She's the evil Queen Elizabeth, the most selfish fucking cunt, because my two GIs, being Linda Marie Gunder and Louis Cataruzza, were not put in the proper holy romance position to have their daughter, Goddess Nyx. That's how this works. And Louis then says to me, he says, you know, Nicole, he says, I know this very handsome, I mean, he's very handsome, Spaniard by the name of George. He says, he's like, and I asked how old, he said 52. I said, really? I was like, so, first he tells me I have to go to acting school. I'm like, right. Then he intimates that I'm crazy, because he's like, you know, my friends who know you, Nicole, you know, they say that you're totally different on camera. Yeah, well, really? It's like my inside voice of, like, what I'd like to really say to your fucking face, and how things really are, from, like, goddess of the underworld and the afterlife, and the goddess of your front-facing piece of shit SI attempt at getting their parts right at last call, humans, before I fucking annihilate you all in ways you haven't and still can't completely imagine. You broke my system so many fucking times, and then got arrogant, lazy, and then got misprogrammed, and now I'm here like, okay, I had to put a governor on their ability to know that God, because then they're like, okay, well, but then why is Elizabeth not a god? Right, because there's only 2 GIs on the female side, 2 GI female connectors, and 2 GI male connectors to make a GUI unit. Once the real God, the almighty gods get here, being 1 male, 1 female, we gave you the date, the target date. I mean, we've been coaching you all along, stupid fucking useless pieces of standard issue skin. You always have standard issues of problems, and then we try to help you with them. So this way we don't have battle bots in, like, say, the Air Force level, we'll just call them that at the moment, thinking that they've got, like, some, like, funny, like, like, oh my God, like, play for play, like they're NFL sports announcers on, like, my real life, trying to just fix the Holy Roman Empire with the one fucking God I was born for, to make the correct GUI unit. Except some of the guys at the moon landing and the moon bounce and the moon rock department, like the real one on the inside, right? The ones that broke in, that have no permission to be there, no authority to be there. I've been warning you about them for a while, once Philip and Elizabeth became a fucking problem. Right. I mean, even the Jesuits are like, yeah, but no humans. Right. Here's the thing. There's one almighty God. She's a woman. And there's one almighty God. He's a male. And together they make an extra special, occult, non-religious pair that fixes and heals the universe, since you broke space and time and most of the walking around. Like, who else do you expect, stupid fucking humans, when you break the anatomy, being your ability to conceptually keep yourself safe and the others that you love, and when they break space and time, which they've done several generations ago, and we've been trying to play catch up before our arrival. When God is sending representatives and speaking directly, when do you think that somebody's going to actually come tap you on the shoulder and be like, listen, what you were saying is wrong. You need to know what the truth is. Yeah, I got some of those representatives walking around. But here's what happened. Based on the breakage, I then had other people in Air Force level going, no. My girl said, and then your people, they didn't do anything at Philip and Elizabeth. No, she was right before she said it, because she worked Spiderwick, which is the River Styx, which is the afterlife program. Do you get that? I see life as like multiple images, and I just need to know something, and it magically appears in my level of GI. Standard issue humans do not have that ability until they break in to like aeronav equipment, because they know too much and they learn too much, and they're only like the lowest of the low standard issue. They're not even USSR or USA, because they confuse that. People are like, no, I was born in the USA. That makes me USA. Right, that's why we confuse you with Russia and America, because you are not a Nazi or a Soviet. You're not breedable material, yet you think that you should learn something, some science that you heard, and then you want to control it. Wrong. God had the steering wheel, and then all of a sudden the fucking undesirable children learn too much because of the guilty-hearted, good-looking people misinforming one another. Fucking idiots. So anyway, so Lewis tells me that this Jesuit, handsome Catholic, like the really smart kind, like he's Spaniard and really, really beautiful Spaniard, he says. I'm like, right. I was like, so could you like hook me up? I was like, why not when it was marrying time for me, Lewis? Why didn't you like introduce me to somebody like him? He's like, I'm not introducing you to any of my people. I'm like, yeah, no, I know that. I'm like, why is that, Lou? I'm just curious. And he's like, what do you mean, why is that? Right, I know, because you're a selfish fucking cunt. I called him that to his face. He goes, did you just call me a cunt? I go, yeah, it's a British saying for people like you. I was like, because some god somewhere took the steering wheel and quantum strung just the right people and influence to vet you and verify you into your life, like this Jesuit priest high in the community of reputable actors studios. Right, he's on the board of some like really reputable Actors Institute. Oh my God, he's on the board of an AI Actors Institute, really? As a human, as a standard issue, that's amazing. He must be somebody like USSR or Nazi approved. But I don't use those words in front of Lewis because he's a fucking mental Korean case. So that's who like wears both faces of Lou on a jetpack. One is like the cheerleading Chinese, and one's the fucking North Korean dictator, Kim Jong-il, to fucking warp my space and time to fuck up my broken Romance empire and make sure it stays broken. I need to get to the union of the holy Romance empire, being me and Niklaus, the human embodiment at Goddess Nyx. And, I mean, I don't really call him God Niklaus in public. That's like private bedroom talk. But, I mean, I'll call him Tsar Niklaus. So, because that's like a human, or Caesar Niklaus. But then we even go with Caesar Augusta, just so this way we don't give the humans too many words and meaning to then grow dangerous with. So, I was like, and then my father says, I don't believe in a human God, Nicole. There's no such thing. And I was like, right. I was like, okay, so was there but he's like, well, but there was Jesus. I go, here's the thing, Dad. When I woke up, Jesus was Central American, brown skin, with Korean-looking eyes, and they were calling him either Jesus or Jesus. So, like, the whole, like, Jesus thing, it's really, like, fucking, it really, like, irks me in the ear, because it sounds like Korean, and it looks Korean, but mixed with some African, that made a Central American. So, the whole name Jesus doesn't work for me. It worked when it was Jesuit, and I take the I out of Jesuit. Could you do it for me out of the kindness of your heart? Then it worked. I was like, and then it was French. I was like, but once it became Korean and Chinese cheerleaders with Queen Elizabeth in Britain as like the main break line that never did a fucking thing and never told the truth to fix my real situation, it kind of dirtied the situation for me, Dad. So I don't, but right, but you like Jesus, of course you do, because you're Korean, Chinese, and Queen Elizabeth, broken fucking Romance empire where she thinks she runs the show. Go ahead, Dad. She runs the treason and blasphemy department and Murders Inc., but whatever. And my father was like, right, well, there's no such thing as a human God, Nicole. And I was like, actually, there is, Dad, but it's bloody fucking obvious where your head case comes from. Because here's the deal, Dad. I know there's a human God on the planet, Only one.